All right, today we're looking at a weather forecast that is, well, it's a real atmospheric tug of war. We've got two powerful systems battling it out over Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and it's creating this really fascinating, complex weather story for November 10th. It's basically a tale of two different forecasts in one state, so let's jump right in.
So, let's get into this conflict, because right now, the skies over the state are a genuine battleground. And what that means is you're getting two completely different weather realities depending on where you happen to be.
And here it is. This is the heart of the matter right here. On one side, you've got this rain-bringing trough in the Bay of Bengal just trying to push all its moisture inland. But fighting it every step of the way is this dry continental air sweeping down from central India. This clash is literally drawing a line right across the state.
So what's been the result of this battle so far? You know, the numbers really don't lie. Let's take a look at the last 24 hours to see which one of these forces is winning and where.
Wow, okay, this slide really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Just look at Kanyakumari district. It's clear the moist trough is winning there, big time. Manaloda got a massive 76.4 millimeters of rain. That is some clear, hard evidence that the moist southerly flow is completely dominating the southern tip of the state.
Okay, so what does this whole atmospheric battle mean for you over the next 24 hours? Well, the forecast pretty much splits Tamil Nadu neatly into two very, very different zones.
Down in the south, that trough is the undisputed champion. The wind convergence there means widespread moderate showers are definitely on the way, and some areas are probably going to see some seriously heavy downpours.
So if you're in Theni, Madurai, Sivaganga, Ramanathapuram, Virudhunagar, Tenkasi, Toothukudi, Tirunelveli, or Kanyakumari, the main thing to know is expect more rain. The conditions are just perfect for this wet pattern to keep going, so you'll want to stay prepared for more of these showers. But if you head north, it's like a completely different world. That dry continental air is really making its presence felt in a big way across all the northern and central regions. For all these areas you see listed here, that dry air is really holding its ground. It's almost acting like a shield, and that means you're far more likely to see only light, maybe some isolated showers. It's a stark, almost unbelievable contrast to the soaking that's happening down south.
Okay, so that's what's happening right now. But this whole tug of war, it's really just the opening act for what looks to be a much more active period for the entire state. Let's look at the bigger picture for the week ahead.
This timeline really breaks it down nicely. Around November 15th, the whole dynamic is going to shift as strong easterly winds take over. That's going to crank up the coastal rain around the 17th and 18th, and it really sets the stage for a potential new low-pressure system to spin up around the 22nd.
So what's the engine that's driving all this wild weather? Because, this stuff isn't just random. Let's take a quick look at the massive climate drivers that are powering this entire active spell.
The first engine is something called a Kelvin wave. The easiest way to think of it is as a massive, eastward-moving ripple in the atmosphere, just a giant wave of energy. And when it passes over our region, it acts as this powerful catalyst, giving all the instability and the juice needed for storms and low-pressure systems to really get going.
And right behind it, hot on its heels, is the MJO, or the Madden-Julian Oscillation. This is another major system that moves across the Indian Ocean, and its arrival is going to keep the Bay of Bengal super active and just ripe for rainfall. It makes sure this wet spell has plenty of fuel in the tank.
Okay, let's boil all this down. If you're going to remember just a few things from today's explainer, here are the absolute key takeaways from the forecast.
So, the main thing to take away is this immediate, sharp contrast. A real soaking in the south while it stays mostly dry up north. But the real story to watch is that shift coming next week, as those easterly winds bring more widespread rain to the entire coast, which could lead to a whole new system.
And when we look at the bigger picture, thanks to those powerhouses like the Kelvin wave and the MGO, this active phase of the northeast monsoon, it's not just a flash in the pan. It's expected to continue, keeping things wet until about the middle of December. So all of this leaves us with one huge looming question. With all this energy brewing out there in the Bay, what's next? We'll be tracking these powerful systems very closely as they continue to develop. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.